The VCT Classic Capsules for 2025 are here, releasing in stores on Friday, and in this video I'll be showcasing all of them and, more importantly, ranking them. Overall, the classics are going to be very similar to last year. As far as I can tell, the sounds are even the same, but the one major difference is for teams like Sentinels or EDG, who won things last year. When you inspect their weapon, you can see the accomplishments like winning Masters, Champions, different stages, things like that. Now, unfortunately, this year the player cards are all generic, just with the color and logo swapped out, and so as this video goes on, this might just become a Kanga color tier list, and will definitely be one of the more objective videos I've made, but still, the main thing is just showing off all the different classics, going alphabetically, so let's start off with 100 Thieves. Alright, so starting things off with the 100 Thieves classic, overall I like the gold that they went with. I don't think anything here clashes too much, the splash doesn't look too bad, and the blue pops pretty well honestly, so not too bad here, not the best either. I'll put it, say, low A tier, high B tier for now. We'll say A tier. Alrighty, that brings us to the All Gamers Classic next. Sort of similar here with the gold they went with, except the gold is on the splash now. I like that a little bit less, I think. I'm not convinced with the gold in the splash. This doesn't look quite as good to me. Still not terrible though, so I'm going to go with B tier for this All Gamers Classic. Not too bad. Okay, next is the BBL Classic. They played it pretty safe with the white splash and only really two colors here, but I think it works playing it safe with the white and gold. So I guess we'll put the BBL Classic in A tier for now. That brings us to the BLG Classic. This might be a little bit of a divisive one. Personally though, I really like the color scheme they went with. I think it's a little bit of a downgrade from last year. There's just more white in general. I would have preferred to see more of the blue and more of the pink going on. Still though, really like the colors here. Bubblegum, so I'm going to put this in A tier. Alright, we've got Cloud9 next, and you'll notice there are going to be a lot of just blue and white classics, but I think this is one of the better ones out of all of them. There's a nice little subtle Cloud9 logo on there, so I think this is fairly standard. I'm going to put it in B tier. Can't go too wrong with just blue and white. Alright, so up next is the DFM Classic, and I wouldn't say that I don't like it necessarily, but I'm definitely not as much of a fan compared to, say, Cloud9 for example. I think the light or neon blue there is a little bit random and out of place. Not too big of a fan of this again, so I'm going to put them in C tier. Next is the DRG Classic, and from the splash art or just the art there, I thought this was going to look really, really good. I thought I was going to be a big fan of it. And then seeing it in game is just a little bit of a letdown. I think the green's a bit too bland almost. I don't really like how the splash looks. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to put DRG again in the C tier, but probably a little bit lower than DFM. Right, this is what I was talking about with the blue and white classics. Here we have the DRX Capsule. I will point out they do have a solid blue gun buddy, which is a little bit different, so I'll give them points for that. Having said that, this is still going to be B tier. I'll put them slightly above Cloud9. Right, now we have EDG, of course, the champions of last year, so their player card is actually going to have a little bit more of a flair. There's a little gold champions logo on it, so I'll give them some props for that. Otherwise, their classic in game, it looks pretty nice. I might actually pick this one up, and I think this is going to be my first S tier. I really like how this bundle looks, and they, again, have the added bonus of being the champions, so I will say S tier for EDG. Evil Geniuses are up next, and unfortunately, I'm thinking around C tier for them, mostly because you just add in the green, and I don't like it as much compared to the classic blue and white of, say, Cloud9 or DRX. I do like the little nod to them winning champions, of course, when you inspect it, but that does not redeem it for me. I don't like the green on this. I'm putting EG in C tier. Fnatic is up next, and I really wanted to like this one, but I think it would have been so much better if they just went with orange and white. I think the pink is too out of place here. This is an ugly pink splash over an otherwise fine classic. Respect for trying to do something different, but I'm honestly going to put Fnatic in D tier. I think just orange would have been better. Pink, they went for it, doesn't work for me. FPX is up next, and they went for a pretty classic, safe, white and gold. I don't like this one as much as BBL, but I don't think it works too badly. It is a pretty atrocious clash with her gun buddy there, though. You see the red gun buddy on this classic doesn't really work. Overall though, the classic isn't too bad, so I'll put the FPX Capsule in B tier. Furia is up next, and I'm not too big of a fan of theirs. Obviously it's just blue and white again, but I think I like this one a little bit less than the other blue and white, mostly because it's a darker blue with just less variety overall, and simply I don't think it looks as good. I'm going to put it tentatively in the C tier. You could bump this one up a little bit, but I don't want to put all the blue ones in the same spot. So Furia in C tier for me. Foot Esports went for a very different blue, and it's sort of different from what I was expecting from their brand in general, honestly, but I really like how this looks. It's different to all the other ones. There is not a single classic that looks similar to this. Pretty nice turquoise sort of color here. I think this one really works. I'm going to put it towards the top of A tier. Not quite S tier, but I do really like Foot's classic. That brings us to the G2 classic. I'm just going to say it. I'm biased. I'm a G2 fan. They're going straight to the top of S tier for me. But with that out of the way, I do still think this looks good regardless. I really like the gold they went with. It feels very royal. On brand with the overall theme, the overall branding. Really like how this one looks. Definitely going to be the ones that I pick up myself, and probably will be using it as soon as it comes out. Global Esports is up next. Once again, we have a white, red and blue combo. I think compared to DFM, this one looks a little bit better. I do like the more majority red, and the blue isn't as bad on this one. However, I'm not a massive fan in general. I think I'll put Global in C tier, but towards the top. Gen G is up next, and I think they nailed their one. I mean, the colors are just gold and black. You can never really muck that up. It's hard to go wrong, but the classic looks really good in game. Of course, you have the little trophy from when they won Masters. I think this is one of the better ones. I'm going to put Gen G in the A tier. Giant X are up next. Once again, another blue and white classic. I do generally just prefer the lighter blue. In general, I think it works better with the white. Not too much else to say about another blue classic. I'll put it in B tier, one behind Cloud9. Next we have JDG. They went for black and red, which was very popular last year, but this time there are a lot less black and red classics in general. This one is a little bit different this year, although I don't like how the white splash looks. I think the red is almost a little bit too much, especially the white throws me off a bit, but I'll put them in B tier. It's not too bad. Now we have Carmine Corp, and I think theirs is beautifully designed. It's very unique, it stands out from the others. A nice soft purple color, which the blue complements really well. This one was always going to stand out for me. I like purple, it's different from the other ones. I'm going to put them in S tier. I like how this looks. Koi's Capsule is up next, and I'm not a big fan of these two colors together. I think especially because there's just too much of both of them. It's not like a little bit of one, predominantly the other. I don't like how these two mixed together look that well. It's not a terrible classic, I just don't like it. I'll put it towards the top of C tier. Now we have Crew. Their classic is just solid pink and white, not too bad, nothing too crazy going on. A little bit different from the others. There isn't anything really like this. It's just pink and white. I'm going to put it towards the top of B tier. Not groundbreaking, but you can't really go wrong with this. Alright, now we have Leviathan, and this is sort of what I was saying went wrong with Koi. I think they did much better here. It's the same sort of colors, but in this time, there's only a little bit of that gold, so it sort of complements it. I do like how you can sort of see the pattern of the dragon as well. In general, on this classic, you can sometimes see it in the light there. So I'm going to put this one in A tier, low A tier though. Loud is up next. They've got some gold in theirs and white compared to last year. I think it's a bit of a downgrade. I much prefer just the solid green and black. This year's has a little bit too much going on. I wouldn't say it looks bad, and it's probably better than the other green ones, but you've got green, you've got white, you've got gold. It's okay, I'll put it higher up in the C tier. Actually, you know what, no, I take that back. I like the green Loud Buddy, they're going up to B tier. Gentlemates went with the same colors as last year, and I still really like how it looks. As much as it's green, it's a very like toxic and vibrant green. I really like how this looks, and I think it goes with that particular purple very well. This might be another one of the divisive ones, but in general, I really like this classic. I think it's a different green color that stands out well. I'm going to put Gentlemates towards the top of the A tier. MIBR is next, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not too big of a fan of this one. I feel like they should have just stuck with the navy blue and gold. I think that's more similar to their jersey colors in general. Personally, I don't like the green here. I think it does too much. So I'm going to put MIBR low in the C tier. Alright, Navis, I'm honestly not sure what to think. My initial reaction was that the splash looked ugly, but the more and more I watch this clip of it, I can sort of get behind the yellow and pink combo. I'm going to put it low, but I'm honestly not sure. Like, I'll leave them in C tier, low C tier. Almost wanted to put them in D tier because the splash looks pretty ugly. But the yellow and pink, I see the vision, but I'm putting it low C tier. Nova Esports have a very nice purple color and then some gold as well. I don't quite like how the gold looks in game. I wanted to put this one higher. Like, I almost want to put this in S tier because I think the purple looks really nice. The gold doesn't quite do it for me. I still like the skin overall though. Probably one of the better ones in general, so I'm going to put Nova in A tier. Now I've got NRG, and based on the splash art, I thought I was going to really like this one, put it in S tier. Might have been one of the best. And I see it in game, and the orange splash, it looks a little bit off to me. Obviously, like, it's all just orange, so it's not bad. I just don't quite like how it looks. Still probably one of the better classics overall. I'm going to put it towards the lower side of the A tier. We've got Paper X now. This one was always going to be a fan favorite, and I really love how this classic looks. Obviously, it matches all of the colors you'll find on their jersey, and I think this one in general, really well made. And so with all that in mind, I'm going to put Paper X up in the S tier. Really like this classic. ROQ is next. They just have a very simple orange and white. I don't think it looks too bad. I'm not overly convinced by it, but unlike some other ones which I just think look ugly, this one I'm just sort of neutral on. They have a nice orange gun body as well, so I'm going to put RRQ in the B tier. Sentinels is up next, and this one was always going to sell the best regardless of how this looked. Like, this could have been terrible and it still would have sold. I don't think it looks bad. I'm not too sure where the orange is coming from, but it's overall, it's very bright, very vibrant. I'm going to put it on the lower side of A tier. T1 have a very nice and simple white and red, and I do really like how this one looks in game. I'm like bordering between B tier and A tier for this one, but I think overall I like how it looks. Very nice red, very nice white. I'm going to put them in A tier. Trace Esports are up next with gold and navy blue. I'm not too big on this one, honestly. I don't like how it looks in game, but it's true to their colors. It's not terrible. I'm just not a big fan of it. So with that in mind, I'm going to put Trace in C tier. Titans Esports Club is up next, and this is pretty different, honestly. I don't love it, but the green and gold are different enough. I don't think it looks bad either. I'm bordering between the top of C tier and the bottom of B tier. I think I'm going to go with low B tier overall. This one isn't too bad. I actually like how different it is. Next up, we've got Team Heretics. When I looked at this one initially, I didn't like it too much. I almost thought it was like too bright, too light, you know, but it's sort of growing on me. I don't mind it now. I think I'm going to put Team Heretics in the middle of B tier. Team Liquid Capsule is up next, and unfortunately, I think this one is a miss. The blue is okay and doesn't look too bad, but the orange just looks ugly on this one to me. It just feels out of place. You know, that's like they've got the orange logo as well. Sure, maybe orange is a normal color for them, but I simply just do not like how the orange splash looks in this one. I'm going to put Team Liquid in detail. Talon's Capsule is up next, and this is probably my favorite looking one in general. Like, I would put this as the best out of all of them if I wasn't a G2 fan. I'm still going to put Talon in S here for sure. I really love how the purple looks here, and the pink complements it as well. It's like sort of a mix between pink and red, and then it all just looks really nice with the black behind all of it. Yeah, I genuinely think this is the best classic out of all of them. I'm putting Talon at the top of S tier. Team Secret went with plain black and white, and you can't go wrong with that obviously, like ever, but out of all the teams this year, they're the only one that actually went with black and white, which sort of surprised me. So yeah, this one doesn't look bad in game. Again, like I keep saying, it's literally just black and white. You can't go wrong with it, but it's not incredible either. I'm going to put Team Secret at the bottom of B tier. We've got Tyler next, and I do like how this one looks. Again, it is just red and black and a bit of white, so it is sort of similar to JDG in that sense, but I think I prefer how this one has more black rather than having too much red in it, and this one does have a nice red gun body as well. I reckon I'm going to put Tyloo in the A tier. Team Vitality is coming in strong with black and yellow, obviously a classic color scheme, hard to muck this one up, and they definitely didn't. Nice yellow gun body here. I think this is a very solid one, not quite S tier for me, but I'll put them sort of, you know, towards the middle or higher up in the A tier. Alright, I've got Wolves now, another one of these orange and black ones. I think I prefer it a little bit over the other ones. I like the balance of orange and black here. I think it looks good. Not the best though. I'm going to put higher up in the B tier. Not quite cracking into A for me. Finally, that brings us to Zeta. Now, last year I had them ranked as one of the lowest, and this green they're using, like it's the same as Gentlemates, but I just don't like how it looks as much on the plain black and white. I'm not going to put it as the lowest. I almost wanted to put them in D tier again. Instead, I'm going to put them in low C tier. That's where I'm putting Zeta. Alright, so that wraps up all the VCT classic skins for this year, and there you can see my overall ranking of them. Again, like I said at the start, this is probably one of the most objective videos I've ever made, and I'm sure all of the comments will be normal and friendly and positive about this, and there will be no arguments, and everyone will be nice to each other.